All right. Good morning, everybody. I think we got it going here. All right. Sweet. Sunny, thank you, sir.
What's up, man? Good morning.
Good morning. We have a lot of note takers in here and some really cool agents as well. And Henry, let's see here. Hi, Henry. All right. Sweet. So I'll get this started for you guys. Quick meeting. We have Sunny Narang here. Sunny is the CEO and founder of Rise Real Estate Group, a nationally recognized powerhouse. He started with a small team and has exploded into one of the most respected organizations in the country because Sonny didn't just set out to sell homes, he set out to build leaders. ChatGPT loves you, Sonny. I'll skip through most of this and say, yes, he is a Dodgers fan, and we try not to bring that up in polite company. But even if his taste in baseball is questionable, his impact in the industry is undeniable. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and one of the best in the business, Sonny Narang.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks very much. I haven't been to the office this early on a Friday in like 8 years. Man,
Specific times, right? Sorry about that.
you're good. You're good. You want me to give my backstory?
Yeah, man, go right for it.
Okay, so I've been in real estate for about 10 years now. My first 6 years, I was on another team. I was also the sales manager. I was selling about 75 homes a year. Our team was doing about 250 transactions a year. And I realized that I love developing and training. I lost the love of selling houses pretty quickly. So I went into that realm. Ended up going to KW. I was the number one team there. And Gary Keller called me and said, "Hey, do you want to come out to Texas and meet me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would love that." Went out to Austin and sat down with Gary Keller for a bit. He offered me a position to own a KW franchise in the Valley, also be the team leader. And I did that for about 6 months. I quickly learned that was not for me, but I did learn a lot of systems, and it was kind of like a PhD in business. I just wasn't used to telling the janitor where to put the toilet paper and let everybody in and give everyone tours. It wasn't for me. So we left that. But during that process, we hired about 450 agents. We were the number one KW in the country in recruiting. But I learned that the brokerage model is kind of broken. We were losing, I think it was about 80,000 a month, but we were making about 150,000 a month in escrow. So I realized that all the sales kind of keep the lights on, but the ancillaries bring us home. And then when I learned that, I said, "Hey, why don't we just go to Real and lose all the overhead and do the same thing?" So we came to Real about a year and a half ago. I had my team of 60. We were selling about 300 transactions, but I was heavily in production. I think probably a third of that was mine. And that's when I fully decided to step out of production. Obviously, that's really hard. And I always dabble back in, but we came to Real. There were 60 of us. We opened another office, an expansion office. They had 50 agents. Now we have 11 offices, about 550 agents. And we're onboarding about 5 agents a day right now. So that's kind of my transition to Real. Um, and we have a escrow company here in California. We do staging, property management. We have a moving notary, media company. We just opened up a mortgage company. So our vision is that we get a bunch of agents into production, and then they feed all the ancillaries. So instead of just getting one sale, we turn it into six or seven. So that's kind of the model that we're focusing on. Obviously, we have the rev share too, and the stock incentives, which has been nice. The rev share basically pays our bills, and the rest of the stuff brings us home.
Very cool stuff. So, I mean, when you're talking to a real estate agent that's being recruited by, let's say, like five other brokerages, I mean, how do you make your team and real stand out to them?
Well, a lot of agents, they're looking for production. They set these lofty goals before the year started, and nobody's on track. So they see our team producing. They see that we have new agents selling 10 to 15 homes a year, and they want to see what's going on. We've been lucky to partner up with Zillow. We have 7 Zillow accounts now. We also have 26 other lead sources. So I think that's the number one thing that's dragging agents in to join us. We have Zillow, Movado, ZBuyer, HomeLight, all the seller referral sites. But that really brings in agents from all demographics. We've got the new agent avatar. We've got the really top producers that want the referrals. So that's how we've been able to scale pretty quickly.
Well, I know that when agents join a team, the Perry Group, yours, other large organizations, there's that honeymoon phase, right? Where they're like, wow, this place is going to be amazing. How do you keep agents satisfied as they make their way through that honeymoon phase and now they're part of the team? They're, 3 months in. How do we keep them satisfied?
Luckily, we haven't had any producers leave us in 3 years. I think a big part of it was it used to be called the Sunny Narang Group. I took my name off of it. I didn't want to, but my coach kind of forced me to. He said, "No big agent's ever going to join you if your name's on it." I was like, "Well, I'm the biggest agent. That's fine." And as soon as I listened, I had so many phone calls come in. Hey, we want to join the team. We're open to talking now. So that was a big thing for me. But I do a lot of masterminds. So we break the team down into three groups. The new agents, 0 to 5 transactions, they go to the mentor program. The 6 to 12, we have a team leader for them. And then the 12 plus, I do like a monthly mastermind. I do weekly check-ins. The one-on-ones is really big for retention.
So how do these conversations start? I mean, you have so many offices. I mean, you're going into like Nashville and Texas, and I think we were talking about Vegas, Chris and I the other day. How do you start these conversations? Like, hey, come join me at Real. I've been to your state one time. How does that start?
I've been to Vegas hundreds of times, thankfully, but before we would kind of start conversations on Instagram, but now Zillow has come to us and said, "Hey, we want you guys to open in these markets." Luckily, Natalie's on this call, but they wanted us to open in Nashville. So we're trying to find leaders that we like, we trust, and we want to grow with. I think a big issue that we found in the beginning was that just because you're a mega producer, it doesn't translate to a good leader. I'd rather have a good leader that cares about their people, that's empathetic, that's trustworthy, and inspires agents than a really heavy hitter because heavy hitters have that huge ego still, and that doesn't make him a great coach. So we look for people that inspire, good partners that we want to grow with.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, that leads into my next question. If you were to start over from scratch today, zero houses sold, you wanted to, introduce agents to Real or, you wanted to grow an organization, what would you do? Just, one or two tangible things that you would do today to start over.
If I was an agent,
Yeah.
I didn't do this early in my career. I never posted on social media. Now I post often. I try to post every day. I would definitely post on social media. I know that Instagram's indexed with Google now, so everything that you post filters there. That'd be number one. Number two, I would do a lot of events. So I think my third year, I started doing buyer seminars, and I would get 3 to 4 transactions per seminar, and that would be 1 hour session. And I wish I did more of those. I also wish I kept expenses down. I spent a lot of money on a lot of dumb things. I wish I would have hired and fired quicker too.
So on your team, speaking of
Yeah.
hiring, what about, I mean, 5 agents a day. Obviously, this is tough for me to say, but you're the best recruiter that I know. So, how are you able to get those 5 people? I mean, is it just you? Is it just Chris? Are you incentivizing your team to do it?
We've tried different tactics. I would say 95% of the recruiting's through me. Um, we used to pay our agents $1,000 if they brought someone on their first transaction. Stop it. Come sit down. 1,000 on the third transaction, but that really added up. So at the end of the year, we were paying a couple 100,000 a year. I wouldn't recommend that. Um, but if you just interview your agents and ask them, how's your year been going so far? What's it like being on the team? That's the best recruiting tool because me talking is really hard to relate to. But having an agent that sold 12 houses last year and the year before they sold zero, that's an easy target for them to follow. They're going to say, hey, if she sold 12, I can sell 16. That's how realtors think.
Chris would wear that shirt as he logs in.
Are
That's
you at the
absolutely
DMV? Where are you, Chris?
ridiculous.
I'm getting my car washed
Oh, man. That's the best car wash in town, by the way. I love that place.
So this
because
is
it's
Chris.
two
Him
minutes
and
from our
Sunny
office.
have grown this together. Chris is his Sunny's business partner with Rise out there. He's a young Jack Perry, for those of you that want to know. He reminds me a lot of Jack. So I guess this is a really good question here then, Sunny, with Chris popping on. What's the goal for Rise? Where I mean, obviously there's no end goal, but I mean, where do you want to be in the next couple of years?
We don't like that word goal because I feel like a goal never happens. Our vision is that we want to be the number one team in the country. So place, Chris, is it 8 billion they did last year?
I believe it was 8.7.
Whatever. We want to beat that. So that's the vision. We want to, open offices in every major city, and we want to expand our ancillary companies. I know my dad was a developer, so when I grew up, that was my dream. I know Chris is starting to dabble in that, but that's kind of where I want to end up. So my goal is that we can fund those in the future.
Nice. That makes me really, really, really happy when you say you want to be the biggest team in the country and you're in our organization. That's the
Yeah,
coolest thing. I can retire. Sonny's the man. All right, I mean, cool guys. Anyone want to jump in with any questions for Sonny? I mean, I have a whole list here, but if you guys want to jump in with any type of questions you have for him,
like I just want to say I've done a lot of these, and no one's ever not sent me the questions beforehand. So thank you for that.
hey, you got to be prepared, man. I'm not going to make any political statements right now, but you're not going to get fed the questions beforehand, man.
All right.
Let's see. I think we have Henry on here. Henry Padilla. He is a team leader. And then Casey's here as well. We have some leadership from the Perry group. So if you guys want to jump in, if not, I can keep asking some of these. All right, sweet.
You said you would do I'll say something. You said you could do a buyer seminar uh, for someone. What would that look like doing a buyer seminar for, I'm restarting back in Utah, so I'm having to kind of start from scratch. So I was paying attention to what Zach was saying. What would that look like for you to like if you, yeah, you have like your sphere is smaller. So how would you do a buyer seminar?
Yeah, so I wasn't from LA, so that was tough for me. What are the big companies out in Utah? Is there like a big military base or a big like here we've got Disney and Warner Brothers and ESPN. So what do you guys have?
So Utah has the largest Air Force base in the country, I believe, right, Jacob?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay. So I would go there. So what I did is I went to Disney and Warner Brothers and I would bring donuts and I would kind of talk about the home buying process. And I felt like it was pretty silly. The questions they would ask were like, what if the roof leaks? Call the roof, I don't know. How much is a deposit? So those are the questions I got. One of our agents, Cole, does a lot of military bases. So he's talking to 2 to 500 people at a time. And he puts up his QR code saying, if you would like to know more or if you want to work with me, scan this code. So he filters that to his landing page, but he picks up quite a few buyers that way. But the more I did it, the more I became the trusted agent. I got a lot of referrals that way. The good thing about those companies is that they're on a pretty big salary usually, and they qualify for what they're looking for. It's a pretty vanilla file. So for Disney, almost everyone that was there was qualifying for at least $800,000 over here. Does that help, Jacob?
Yeah, it does help. It's interesting thinking about going to like some of these companies, and I'm switching to my computer, so I'm not holding mine. Anyway, um, yeah,
So
just I get that sales part, and then but it's a unique thing pitching to them.
that was for buyers. What we're targeting now is senior care facilities for sellers. I know that's been a big niche for us.
Oh, who's that? There you go, Sonny.
Thank you. So we just started tapping into that. We've been doing presentations at senior care facilities, targeting placement agents. So those are the ones that take homeowners into these facilities and they kind of transition them and say, hey, we recommend selling. This should be your realtor. So we pitch to them, we bring them lunch. We actually got a few transactions out of the last one. So if you guys want sellers, that's the route that I would go.
Solid. Anybody? Because I have one.
Yeah.
So when you're adding agents to your team, back to the recruiting side of things, one bad apple can legitimately ruin everything for the entire team, right? You have someone with a massive ego, someone that, you know, does things that are less than legal. How do you identify those red flags before you introduce them to the team?
I'm the wrong person to ask. We don't do that well, but uh, we actually fired the agent that made us the most money. I think it was last year. Chris, she made us 250. Was it 250,000?
Yep.
She made us 250,000, but she was just so toxic, and she would talk poorly about us, and she would create drama and create lie about everything. And we fought it for years because we're like, well, she's making us so much money. She only worked our leads, so they were 50-50 splits. It got to the point where it was so bad we had to let her go. When the team is smaller, it makes a huge difference. Obviously, our organization is much larger now, so it doesn't matter as much. But if your team is small, you got to handle it on the spot. That would have helped us out so much. Everyone's replaceable as an agent.
Solid. So you guys have been able to grow exponentially through the most difficult market that I've seen, really any of us have seen. Where do you see the market going in the next 5 years? Obviously, you're like the agent whisperer right now. I mean, where's it going to go?
I haven't really thought that far. I think next year is going to be the best year that we've ever had for a lot of teams. I see the rates finally coming down. We're seeing some good news about cuts coming. Maybe Trump gets rid of capital gains tax. If that happens, inventory really opens up. But there's a lot of things that are trending in our direction. There's a lot of loan products that are coming out. I know Zillow just introduced a 1% down payment. There's still a lot of grants, government assistance programs out here. So I feel like next year's going to be a lot better. I'm seeing a lot of agents also weed out the industry. The ones that aren't producing, they're kind of self-destructing. So there's less competition, there's more inventory, and rates are coming down. I think that's kind of a perfect storm for what we're hoping to do.
So my question is super like houses are so expensive in California, right? I mean, especially I'm in New Mexico, but even like compared to like Utah, what does the buyer pool look like out there? Like, there's a lot of service industry jobs, but a lot of entertainment jobs and stuff like that. But I mean, how big is that buyer pool for those prices?
I'm seeing a lot of our buyers get assistance from their family, a lot of down payment assistance, but there's still a lot of money coming from overseas. So we have a lot of international buyers still. I don't know where all of the buyers get their money from, but there's a lot of money in LA.
So, Scott,
What's up, Scott?
Yeah, what's up, Sonny? Hey, let me ask you a few questions here. Of the agents that you guys have been able to bring over, has the majority been agents joining your team or joining Real? Like, what's that breakdown?
I think we have two agents in the organization, not at the team. To be honest, the rev share it's great. That's just definitely not our model. Because I hired one agent a couple years ago, or maybe 2 years ago, and they were asking me questions every day. And I'm like, the most I'll make on this is 4,000 bucks. I'd rather have them on Rise, and we can make that every month off of them. I think it just financially didn't make sense for us. Emotionally, it didn't make sense for me taking those calls all the time. It was too much work. So
Cool.
we try to put them at Rise. We put them at Rise, not try. We put them at Rise.
My follow-up question to that, Sonny, is like, you mentioned Instagram, but can you maybe dive deeper a little bit into what's been the best way to initiate conversations with agents who are, open to joining Rise?
Yeah, so I have a VA on Fiverr. She adds a bunch of agents and then she deletes them, I think, if they don't add me back. But I like their posts, so 3 posts in a row that aren't like bathing suit pictures, just regular pictures of real estate. And then they usually like one or two of mine back. And then I like a few of their stories. I notice that they like my stories back. Every day I check who likes my stories. I get between 1,200 and 1,500 views per day. Whoever likes my stories, I've learned that they want to join the team. So then I throw up a poll. I usually do a poll on Friday when I'm at the gym, and I put like a question. Who's doing an open house this weekend? Who's hitting the gym this weekend? Whoever responds to my poll, I DM them. And that conversion for me is almost 100%. Because if they're on my story, they're checking out all the stuff we do. There's a reason for that. So I've learned that's the best target for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, can I ask a follow-up question about that
Ask as many questions.
without hijacking the entire Zoom call? You mentioned you've been in production before and you still dabble in it, sounds like. When it comes to your Instagram, have you found a challenge between how do I post from a team leader standpoint and a trying to create those interactions that you just described versus me trying to get more clients?
Haven't found a challenge?
Does that even cross your mind, like what you're posting of who the target audience is?
No, because my 100% target audience is agents. If my clients come, that's just a bonus. But I have clients all the time. It sucks, but they say, hey, we were thinking about working with you again, Sonny, but you're just way too busy, man. You've got this many companies, this many agents. I'm like, well, work with one of our agents. So I wish there was a way around that, but I'm just 100% target on growth. I don't really want to be in production. I don't want to drive around show homes anymore.
So when did you make that decision? And then Maggie, you're next. But when did you make that decision? Like, I know you said early on, but like, was there a moment where you're just like, wow, this sucks? Because I had that moment the first time I wrote a contract. So, I mean, when did yours happen?
I never really loved production. And then I just get beat up in transactions. People are canceling because the sink's leaking, and I'm getting crazy calls at 11 o'clock at night. I think when COVID hit, the first month, I think it was March, I had about 16 transactions going, and 10 of them canceled. And I was like, damn, I've showed them houses for months. Now they're saying they don't want to buy because of COVID and there's a pandemic. And I called my mom. I said, Mom, like, I don't know what to do. I've never done anything else in my life. And I was like, what should I do? And she's like, well, you can either wait and see what happens or become a bartender. You like talking to people. I'm like, I don't want to be a bartender. So that was kind of when I decided I want to figure out a solution to get out of production. And then just every year I just kept limiting and passing off clients and passing off clients. I get someone like calling for condo. I don't want to show condos. I pass that off. Someone that want to see houses 45 minutes away, I pass that off. Um, and then I got to watch my agents sell homes and that joy of them being so happy and getting their checks. Honestly, it sounds cliche, but that makes me a lot happier than me getting the checks. Even if I make less, just watching them. Like we had an agent yesterday come up to me. I made a video about it. They had 7 listing appointments set in a row. And I'm like, I mean, I can do that every day. But it made me so happy thinking like, wow, these guys are excited. One of the kids is 21 and he just had the biggest smile on his face all week. He came into my office yesterday. He's like, hey, I'm having a confidence issue. What should I do? I'm like, do you want to borrow my Rolex? Like, what can I do to help? And just watching him smile like made my whole day. So that's kind of a big part of it too.
Maggie?
Hey, Sunny, this is Maggie. I'm our director of education at the Perry Group. So, stoked to meet you. But so a couple questions on just like your team structure, because I'm intrigued. You had said every person that you're trying to bring on to Real, you really want to bring them on to Rise to eliminate the amount of questions that you're getting and maximize the amount of revenue that you're earning, essentially. If they're going to ask you questions, your model is to have them on your team, right? You had mentioned early on in the call that you've got your team broken out into if they do 5 or under, they're in your mentorship program, 6 to 12, they've got a team, essentially a captain or a mentor that they're going to, and then 12 plus, they meet with you monthly or one-on-one, right? Is that at every single one of your offices that you have a leader for each one of those groups?
Every office we have a partner and a leader. We did do one-on-ones when the team was smaller. We did stop because it got crazy. We tried doing group one-on-ones. That was too much. But the last couple months, I've been trying to call them at least once a week, and they never turn into real estate stuff. It's always just checking in, talking about their life and their family. I think they enjoy that. But I think that if you're a smaller team, you have to do one-on-ones to succeed and build retention.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So to be clear, do you have a coach or a mentor for each one of those groups at each one of your offices, or is it
Yeah,
cool?
so we have a partner team leader that
Yep,
opens the office with us, and then we have assigned mentors for the newer agents at those offices.
got it. Got it. And then just kind of more anecdotal or, what are I was just on a call right before this with my coach, and we were talking about the qualities of leaders or people that you identify in your organization. Is that a part of the avatar that you're searching for? Is somebody who could potentially be a future leader? Or do you find that those people more come from and have been with the organization for a long time?
I think in the beginning, we were just grateful that anyone wanted to be a leader with us. I think now we're trying to be more selective. I love when someone's been a former team captain, Boy Scout, whatever, had some sort of leadership role
Yeah.
before. Um, I think also they respect them a lot more if they were a big producer at one point. I know that's a complaint that we get about some of our leaders that they never were, you know, huge producers, but I'm like, that doesn't matter. Tom Ferry never sold houses. The best coaches in the NBA, they weren't good basketball players. I think it's not the same.
Yeah. I love it. I couldn't agree more. Thanks.
I think you're on mute, Zach.
Well, I will be respectful of your time, Sonny. We have about 3 minutes out. If there's anything you'd like to finish up with, besides the fact that you and Chris will not be golfing with me in November, so that was a lot of fun to find out. But we appreciate you, and if you have any parting thoughts.
I might golf. He's going to Zillow in Vegas, and Vegas sounds more fun than Orlando, Florida, but I might be there.
I'm going to Disney World. Come on. My 2-year-old's going to be there. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what everyone's role is within their organizations, but I kind of remove real. We like real, but I just remove real from any conversation. I don't pitch real. I just pitch rise. To be honest, half our team doesn't even know really what real is. They just know they cut the checks for us. But we built our own admin staff, so they're all rise.
Well, the goal is for you to always not remember what brokerage you're with so you never leave. So thank you again, Sonny, Chris, everybody for being here. If you have any questions for Sonny, please send them my way and I'll pass them along. He's a very busy man. So thank you guys.